Imagine waking up one morning, guys, to only discover that your football club that you love no longer exists. No badge, no more football matches, no more escape on the weekends or those cold away days on a Tuesday or Wednesday evening. No more history being written. Just nothing. Just a building filled with memories and ghosts of times that we used to associate with the football club that we love. Our closest neighbours, Bury Football Club, went through this exact situation. And Rochdale AFC almost came through an identical situation just a few short years ago. For thousands of us Rochdale fans, this building, this football club and this stadium that we all love came dangerously close to not existing any longer. Me from Rochdale personally, I would say there was always three constants when it came to this town, and this is even including 2 world wars, economic crises and so much more with over 120 years of history. 3 constants. You've got the town hall, you've got the cooperative movement, and Rochdale AFC was always there when we needed it. This, guys, is the story of how Rochdale Football Club went from the brink of being bust to rising from the ashes. But guys, before we get into any of that, you guys need to understand the history and where it all began for Rochdale Football Club. Formed in 1907, this club didn't predicate itself on having billionaire owners or was not dependent on crowds bringing in millions to help facilitate funds. For decades, in Rochdale's early stages of being a football club, survival was often their greatest victory. In 1921, Rochdale Football Club achieved footballing status for the first time in its history. It took them 14 years, but they managed to get the job done. Rochdale was always known for its loyalty, if you want to call it that, to the lower English football divisions, specifically Division 4 and sometimes Division 3. Whilst a majority of the Rochdale fans and supporters were massively behind the football club and very proud of the institution that they were creating at the time, behind the scenes, chaos was unfolding. Unfortunately, lower attendances meant smaller revenues, and therefore smaller revenues meant that any mistakes could be costly. Very, very costly. During the 1980s, English football was in crisis. Attendances falling, facilities fading. Many clubs were struggling financially, and Rochdale was no exception. The club, unfortunately, became engulfed with ownership turmoil. Decisions made at the boardroom level left Rochdale supporters worried about its own club's future. Money was tight, debts were growing, and there were genuine fears that Rochdale AFC may collapse completely. According to Rochdale's own historical records, a group of local directors had to come in to save the financial hardships that the club was undergoing at the time. The club itself has described this particular time period as saving Rochdale AFC from meltdown. That's all that needs to be said. And I just want you guys to stop and imagine that just for a quick minute. If it hadn't been for local intervention from local figures, Rochdale's story most likely would have ended right there on the spot. Who knows where it would be today had that have happened. But do not get it twisted. Just because they got rescued from that situation didn't mean they automatically had infinite funds or even was remotely well off as a football club. They spent a lot of the 1980s and 1990s simply just trying to stay afloat as a football club, meaning that just one bad year could have serious ramifications. In 1990, Rochdale Football Club would achieve their greatest ever run within the FA Cup, reaching the 5th round. And with that success in the FA Cup, the club was able to get rid of a lot of the debts that the club had at the time. For the supporters of Rochdale, that FA Cup run was something to be excited about. You know, a story of immense success for an underdog. At boardroom level and the ownership, it was simply one thing: breathing room. Without money coming through the doors consistently enough, at that point in football, where the economy was lying, a lot of the lower league teams simply could not or were struggling to survive. Rochdale Football Club knew that better than most. By 2000, the world of football as we know it was exploding at a rapid and unheard of pace. The Premier League TV money they were booming, and that therefore meant that a lot of the lower league teams were getting left behind. The gap between the rich and the not so rich was growing more and more year upon year upon year, and the lower league teams simply had no chance of keeping up. What this meant for lower league teams such as Rochdale, financial security and sustainability of the football club was paramount to its survival. Growing pressure year on year to spend more and more as a lower league club to chase that promotion and that success unfortunately cost a lot of clubs a heavy price, to which today they are still trying to recover from. And one simple reason, guys, as to why Rochdale Football Club survived whilst a lot of those could not, one very simple reason: people. It wasn't billionaire investment, it wasn't TV money. Those that were behind the scenes, including supporters and even volunteers to this day, would always step in to make sure that this club keeps on surviving and continues to thrive year upon year, no matter how dark the times may find. This is where the true story of Rochdale AFC is. It's not necessarily about money. Teams such as Rochdale Football Club and many other lower league teams like us are not traditional businesses in the sense of like a top level Premier League club is. The institution belongs to the town, its people. This club's legacy, passed on through generations upon generations, longer than you and I have been around for, to keep this place thriving, to keep this place alive. That's what makes this club so special. And it's fair to ask the very difficult question, guys, as I sit under one of the away stand entrances at the football club right now. What would have happened had the club gone under? Well, no more memories in my opinion. You wouldn't get any of that sort of feel to the place. It would just be a graveyard of memories that we once held behind these walls and doors. And while it wouldn't necessarily take away my love for the club, there without doubt would be a massive loss to its local community and its supporters, leaving a massive void that could never be filled again. In all seriousness though, guys, despite all the triumphs, all the relegations, all the setbacks and almost being liquidated as a club entirely, whether that was in the 1980s, the 1990s, or even as late as 2020, just after COVID hit. When we think we're on the brink, Rochdale's greatest ever achievement and greatest asset is its own people and its ability to never know when it's done. There is always a way back, and there is always fighting people for this club. Because just when you think we're on the brink of going, the community comes together and manages to create something that's just more than a football club. Founded in 1907, still standing. Take care, guys.